All right, so today we're talking about how to prepare an already existing garden bed for new planting. We talked a little bit about planting cover crop, but a lot of areas in our garden we don't do in cover crop. We might want to have a winter crop in. And so as you can see right here, what this is we had broccoli growing in this area, which we've allowed to flower, and it's used as the pollinators are coming, so it's been beneficial to our garden to bring in pollinators. But at this point in the spring, we have lots of other things in our garden that are flowering, so we really don't need these flowers in our garden anymore. So in order to prepare this area, there's a few things that I need. Number one, I'm going to need a digging fork, which is a great tool for getting down, breaking up soil without disturbing it too much. I'll also want a spade shovel, and this allows for turning of the soil, but also allows for just moving around of the compost and other things. And the last tool that I use is a garden hoe. We like to get these Italian hoes, which have a nice broad head on them and really work well in our garden. They tend to be a little bit better than some of the smaller hoes that you buy at the store, but just a regular hoe will work also. So the first thing I need to do to prepare the bed is I need to get out the plants that are there. What we like to do is we actually like to just cut the plants at the top and leave the roots in. That allows those roots that are already in there to help break up the soil a little bit more, and also provides organic matter in the soil. And so what I do for that is I just go to the base, cut it off right at the base. And with broccoli, they have a nice big base, so I use something big. Other smaller things you can just break off. And then I'm going to remove these from this space I'm about to prepare. I'm going to go ahead and leave some of this chard in because it's still growing and I can still use it. But if you want to clear everything, you might get back there and cut all of that out too. The next step is to break up your soil. We have drip lines in here, so when I'm doing anything in the garden, I try to move those out of my way so that I can work without them being in my way. And then what I do is I take my fork and I just go about down to the depth of my fork and I just pull it back. In doing so, two things are happening. I'm able to allow my roots for my plants to go a little bit deeper, a little bit easier. It's going to allow when I add in my compost for my compost to get down into the soil a little bit deeper than if I just put it on top. So I just go through and about 2 to 3 inches back from, I'm going to come in and zoom in on the top. I go in about 2 to 3 inches back from the spot before, like this. And this also allows, if I was using baskets last year, I'll find those baskets and I can get them out. But I'll just go through my whole bed like this, 2 to 3 inches back, break it up, just like that. Go ahead and kill it. Okay, so once you've taken your fork and worked your way all the way through the bed, again, we're getting all the way to the back here, just about 3 inches behind each other, breaking it up. Then I'm ready to add in my compost. To add in compost, we get our compost from a local person who brings it up from the valley and able to go get a dump load of it. You can also buy it by the bag at different stores, but it is important to continue to build your soil every year. Or you can make your own compost, which will be a whole different segment that we'll do. What I do with the compost now that I've broken up the bed is I take it and I'm going to spread it about, maybe an inch or so across the whole bed. So I'll take my compost and just shovel it out so that it covers the entire bed, maybe about an inch. And I'll do that across this whole bed. So once I've put the compost across the top of the bed, I'll go through and kind of make sure it's relatively evenly spread with my hand so I don't have big piles of it in certain places and not so much of it in other places. Once I do that, is when I use my hoe. What I'm going to do is come in with my hoe, and I'm going to just do the top 3 or 4 inches like this, coming across the top of my bed. Again, I kind of methodically go in about, and again, if I get, this might be an opportunity where more wires in there I can get out. By doing this, I'm mixing this compost in to the top 5 to 6 inches of my soil, so it's not just sitting on the top. And I'll do this again about every 2 inches, kind of move forward all the way across the bed. So as I work my way to the end of the bed I'm preparing, I make sure that I keep my feet on the sides of the bed. I don't want to be standing in the bed as I'm going to work my way down and recompacting it. This should be kind of the last loosening of the soil before we're planting. So again, coming down to the end, I've mixed that compost into the top layer, and then I just come in with my hands. I'm going to kind of spread it out and break up any clumps that might still be in there, and I'm going to work my way down the bed, smoothing it, breaking up clumps, and when I get to the end, then my bed is ready for the next stage, which will be planting. Alrighty, so then as you work your way back to the end, you get your bed done. We're ready for planting. Then you can put your irrigation back on. And you're ready to go.